Welcome to this webinar from the Good CME Practice Group. As you all know, the EACCME 3.0 was launched in June of 2023. And today with this webinar, we will discuss the recent changes and developments in the accreditation criteria as implemented by UEMS-EACCME of January of 2025. My name is Froukje Sosef. I'm the co-founder and medical director of Good, which is a company in independent medical education and CME. We're a member of the Good CME Practice Group. And today I'm joined with Margarita Velcheva, who's from the Kennis Group, a professional congress organizer, also a member of the Good CME Practice Group. And we're very pleased to have today as a guest speaker, João Grenho, the Secretary General of UEMS and the head of EACCME. Welcome both. This is a relevant topic for all types of organizations involved in the organization of accredited medical education events, such as medical societies, professional conference organizers, or PCOs, and for-profit and not-for-profit education providers. So thank you so much. I'll hand over to Margarita now.
Thank you very much, Froukje, and welcome everyone to today's Good CME Practice Group webinar. Welcome, João. Thank you very much for your time. We're very happy that you had the chance to participate today. And without any further ado, I will start with the first question received prior to the webinar. Could you give us a little bit more information, and generally speaking, about the EACCME organization and how many programs you accredit per year?
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation, Froukje and Margarita. Very quickly, so the EACCME organization is a part of a bigger organization, which is the UEMS. It is a professional medical organization, the UEMS, and it represents around 1,600,000 medical specialists. So the EACCME is a small part of it. We have a team, if you count me in, we have a team of 9 members, and we have accredited over the past years around 3,000 educational events per year in its different typologies, live educational events, e-learning materials, and all the other typologies of accreditation that we have. So in a short sentence, this would be it.
Thank you very much. It's quite a huge volume of applications.
For sure. And since the launch of EACCME 3.0 in June 2023, João, you have had further conversations with other types of organizations, which some of those conversations have led to these recent changes in the criteria. Could you describe for us the groups of organizations you have had those conversations with?
Yeah, sure. So when we launched EACCME 3.0, we had a very large public consultation with all our providers, and upon launching and upon discussing it again with our providers, we saw that some adjustments needed to be made. And so we were approached by, because it's very difficult when you accredit 3,000 events per year, it's very difficult to have conversations with the individual, with all the individual people wanting to talk to us. So what we did was we had conversations with groups of organizations. So, for instance, we had a conversation with the groups, with the Good CME Practice group. They gave us feedback and they gave us suggestions. Many of those suggestions were used by us when reviewing the criteria. We had conversations with the Biomed Alliance, which is a very big group of providers. We had conversations with the AC Forum. We had conversations with medical scientific societies, European medical scientific societies, and so it was again a very big group when you go, and of course it was conversations with groups, but in the end it was a very representative group of providers who gave us feedback and that we decided to use in our revision of this 3.0 criteria.
Yeah, which was great, and thank you for also listening to those groups and being open to make changes to the criteria, which was good. Go ahead.
And as a reminder, João, could you please remind us and the audience, what type of organizations can submit applications for accreditation?
So if you are to submit an application for accreditation, you need to be a physician organization. What do we mean by this? We mean by this, like an individual medical specialist, you can either be a university, hospital department, scientific medical society, and so on, and go on. The only thing that is outside of this group is the PCOs, which are always also entitled to and eligible to apply for CME-CPD accreditation with the ACCME, but they must co-develop the CME-CPD activity with a physician organization as the ones listed. Of course, we kept our very strict rules about pharmaceutical, medical and surgical devices company, medical technology companies, medical and surgical software companies, other type of industry, and medical communication agencies. Those are not eligible for CME-CPD accreditation. And when it comes to the gray areas, what we do is we evaluate the applications on a case-by-case basis, and we make a decision if that provider is eligible or not, based on the information that we require and is given to us by the provider.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for people attending, feel free to, if further clarification is needed here, feel free to submit questions about this. Because we did listen to all our the people who registered. So the next question is actually about sort of what really came up on those pre-registration questions. And this is more specific. Many of the people on this webinar are actually involved in the development and the delivery of satellite symposia during congresses. Now, we all know a big change was actually that EACCME decided not to accredit those satellite symposia, even when they are designed as CME events or CME activity. For some people, that was really like a change in thinking was needed, because in other parts of the world, like the US, Canada, that is common practice. So could you explain to us why EACCME actually decided to not accredit the satellite symposia anymore?
Yeah, it's a question of, I would say. Let me start just by making go back a little bit in time. And we came from a place where we were not accrediting these events. And some time ago, maybe 3 to 4 years ago, we decided to start accrediting satellite symposia. And what?
João, I'm not sorry to interrupt. I'm not sure it's me, but I can't hear anymore. You?
Yeah.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
I will proceed without the headphones.
Okay, thank you.
We decided to stop accrediting satellite symposia, because when we started doing that, the perception was EACCME was now doing commercial symposium accreditation. And that's the main issue why we decided to stop doing that. I'm pretty sure that the decision will have its critics and will have its supporters. It's always that way. But at some point, we have to draw the line. And the perception that EACCME was doing accreditation of industry events was very nefarious for us. And so this is the reason why we decided to stop accrediting satellite symposium. That being said, let me just clarify that if you feel that you have a different kind of event
although it might be classified as a satellite symposium, please come to us, please explain to us what you're intending to do, and we will have a frank conversation with you. And if we deem it acceptable, we will accept it.
Okay, that's good to know. Be careful what you say, though. But
Yeah, I know.
yeah, but that's good to know. Yeah, great. Okay.
Thank you for that clarification. And on that note, so following this line of thought, programs developed by CME providers are often supported through an independent support grant. Very often, different wording is used by different parties and organizations. Could you briefly take us through the main elements of that definition, now defined by the EACCME independent support grant?
Yeah, sure. So again, going a little bit back in time, the thing with the definition of independent support grant is that we ask our providers, because unrestricted educational grant, our previous term, was a no-go for many providers, and had them, they would have problems with that term when it comes to discussing with their sponsors. And so we decided to hear our providers to get feedback on what was the term that they felt was more accurate to and would defend their interest best. And the term that came most time to us, that people referred to us many times, was this of independent support grant. I would like to say that regardless of what you call it, regardless of what the name it has, the principle and the philosophy has always been the same. This is that monetary and in-kind contributions given by a commercial interest to a CME CPD provider are used to pay all or part of the cost of CME CPD activity, and the education is independent of the control of the sponsor. So the commercial interest that's supporting your event is not allowed to have control or influence over the content of the CME CPD activity. And this is the philosophy. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it independent support grant and restricted educational grant. Call it whatever you want. This is the thing that you have to bear in mind, is the money or the in-kind support that is given has to be given with no strings attached. You are, as the provider, are the one deciding on how to use it, and that cannot be put upon you, or you cannot be pressured to use the money in this way or that way. No, that's your decision, and you're the only one who needs to be free to make it.
Yeah, thank you. So that's the independent.
Yeah.
Maybe, if I may, following on from this, we see a question in the Q&A at the moment, which is related to this. So the question is, so there is an industry-sponsored symposium. So I guess this means it's really the content at the symposium has been approved and signed off and developed by the industry. Can you then develop an accredited e-learning out of it?
But the live educational event is supported by an independent support grant.
No, it's under the control of industry.
Oh, I would say no.
Okay.
I would say that would not be possible, because the bias and the perception are there. So, and that's something that will continue to be there in an ELM.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Now, following on this topic of commercial interest, João, EACCME 3.0 contains very clear guidance on the commercial influence and the bias. For example, you know, the activity scientific content has to be clearly separated from the commercial components. Now, one question that comes up time and time again, and this is about the lanyards, which are often sponsored. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that, on the sponsoring of lanyards and why?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm just smiling because I have to be completely honest with you. Never ever in my 6 years ago, when I first ran to be Secretary General of the UEMS and head of the EACCME, never would I thought that I would spend so much time talking about lanyards. But the fact is that I do. Look, again, it's a question of philosophy. As you know, we decided when we implemented 3.0, we decided to leave what happens outside of the scientific room, where by scientific room, we are talking about the place where the scientific event is really taking place. We decided to forego of all restrictions and to let providers and to trust providers and let them organize the outside of the room as they wish. So there are no more restrictions that we don't want to know, or we don't mind if you have the water fountain supported or anything else. It's fine by us. The thing here is we said, and this is the philosophy, you need the scientific room needs to be free of any commercial sponsorship. And I'm pretty sure that many people listen to me say this and they say, well, but it's ridiculous because the lanyards, a doctor won't be influenced by the lanyards. I understand that. I'm a doctor myself. But at some point we have to draw the line, because if we say the scientific room needs to be free of any sponsorship, and then we say, okay, but lanyards are okay because but then the tote bags are okay also because the doctor won't be influenced by the tote bags. At some point, it's better to say, well, let's have no rules at all. And I don't think that's useful, and I don't think that's what we want for our medical education events. So it's a question of philosophy. It's a line that had to be drawn, and it was drawn there.
With the lanyards. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just to summarize, any items that can be carried in a room where independent education is being delivered is definitely a no-no.
Yeah, that's the line. Not the lanyards, but the scientific room. Yes.
And now, since we are on that note, considering the space where CME content is being presented, accredited content is being presented, what are the guidelines and recommendations, or when a person from industry can speak in a scientific program? Is that actually even allowed?
Yeah, as a general rule, no. This is a general rule, but there are exceptions, and we decided to make some exceptions. And this came about with COVID, when we realized that the people that were behind the development of the vaccine for COVID and the utilization of the mRNA technology had some valuable lessons for the world. And we shouldn't say that that was not non-biased medical education just because they happen to work for industry. So as from the beginning of the implementation of EACCME 3.0, we have some exceptions, and the exceptions are that a speaker from industry is allowed in an event as a speaker if the event is not organized by if the event is organized by an independent provider, and if the topic is a recognized area of expertise for the speaker and the content of the talk is not related to the business line or products of the company, or if the content of the activity is limited to basic science research, such as preclinical research, drug discovery, or methodologies of research, and the author does not make care recommendations. With that in mind, the author must then include a very clear conflict of interest declaration in the application, and it should be it should be showed in the beginning of his or her presentation. And so in this case, a speaker from industry making sure that these requisites are satisfied will be allowed in the program.
Okay, very clear. So in principle, no. Under certain circumstances, yes. When it's clinical research, because those people are also experts on their specific topic, and the transparency needs to be clearly there. And interest. Thank you. Now, sort of, we stay a little bit on the topic of live events. We also received several questions regarding the monitoring of learners' attendance at the live events and collecting their feedback. Now, this has been ongoing for years, we feel, but it's still something that people are wondering about, like how to best do it. Can you list what it is that you as EACCME actually expect from providers when it comes to monitoring their attendance and collecting their feedback?
Yeah. So it's very simple. We don't have rules. You don't need to have a QR code system to monitor your attendance. What we say is that you have to monitor the attendance. You need to collect the feedback from the attendees, and only attendees that are monitored and that have given feedback should receive EACCMEs. This is the rule. How you do the attendance, the monitoring, it's up to you. We trust you. We know that you are reliable organizations, and you just have to tell us how you plan on doing that. I usually say EACCME is an accreditation authority, but it's not the accreditation police. We are not going after you to make sure that you did what you told us that you would do. We trust you. If we find out that you didn't do what you set up to do and what you told us that you would do, then the conversation might be slightly different. But as a general rule, we trust you. These are our rules. How you implement them, it's completely up to you, how you feel more comfortable doing it. We're very happy as long as you do it. And just to make sure, this is not a new thing. This has been in place forever in EACCME rules and criteria.
Yeah, thank you. No, I think it was clear, and I hope it helped those people who submitted those questions. It's now clear. Thank you. Thanks.
Great. And looking in the Q&A panel and the questions that are coming in, I would like to address a question on a topic related to the concept of the provider that EACCME defines. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? How many trusted providers do you have now registered, and how will EACCME be implementing the provider accreditation? Perhaps you could also clarify how EACCME is approaching event accreditation versus a provider currently, and what's coming in the future.
Yeah. So the thing, as for trusted providers, we have around 25 trusted providers at this point. We still are receiving new applications for trusted provider, and of course we will be analyzing them. The thing with trusted provider is that it is a system that was, when implemented, looking at the quantity of events and not so much to the quality of the events. I'm not saying that quantity is contrary to quality. I'm just saying that I would rather have a system more looking at the quality of the events, so more a qualitative system than a quantitative one. But this is what we have now. To try to close that gap, we decided to start developing a new system of accreditation, which will be provider-based accreditation, and there you will be able to access the provider accreditation system based on the quality of the events, based on measurement of the quality of the events, and not so much in the quantity. The thing here is that we will keep on doing the two things. So if you have a number of events that a number and the quality, of course, record of quality that makes it more useful for you to go into the provider accreditation system, you will be able to do this with the ACCME. If you are a smaller provider who has a couple of events per year and does not see an advantage in going into the provider accreditation system, the system, as you know now, will continue to exist. The event-based system will continue to exist, and they will coexist, the two of them, normally for the next years to come, decades, I hope. We are a little behind on the development of the system, because it has presented us with challenges that we are trying to solve. Many of them are IT challenges, but we hope to have the system. We hope to be able to launch the system in the beginning of 2026, I would say.
Okay.
End of 2025, beginning of 2026.
So provider accreditation.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Time is running, honestly. This was great. Just also looking at the Q&A that we have, and where people are submitting questions. One question, so maybe we need to be a little bit quick, but one question relates to who's eligible and who's not eligible to submit. Is on the list that we showed. It also says that an individual healthcare professional can apply for accreditation, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Margarita.
Let me just correct something. I would not say healthcare, individual healthcare professional, because we are a professional medical organization. It has to be an individual medical specialist. A
specialist, yes. Okay, thank you.
But on that note, we are looking to develop. We are looking to make a joint venture with for instance, with nursing representative organizations, and with their scientific assistance, we are looking to start accrediting events targeted at nurses and not only at doctors. But that's ongoing, and I have not much more to say about that at this point.
Oh, great. So provider accreditation and nurses. Great. Okay, thank you.
Many things to look forward to. And just one last question, just to use the last few minutes and to squeeze this within the discussion. João, just if you could briefly clarify, is multi-support preferred for a single or versus a single support for medical education activity?
Not at all. Not at all. As long as the rules are clearly followed and independence is guaranteed, you're welcome to have the support you wish, either multi or individual sponsorship. It's fine by us.
Okay, clear. Thank you. We're at the end of this webinar. Thank you both, João and Margarita. This was really valuable, I think, and I hope that's the case for everyone attending. Thank you, Margarita. Thank you, João.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining, and stay tuned for more Good CME Practice Group activities.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.